The Varian Empire had conquered 17 systems before they encountered Earth. To them, humans appeared fragile and primitive, species that had barely ventured beyond their home planet, with technology centuries behind their own. Commander Locke stood on the bridge of the flagship Dominion Asterisk, a smirk playing across his gray-scaled face as Earth came into view on the main display. "Such a small planet for such a troublesome species," he remarked to his second-in-command, Officer Marl. "Their transmissions suggest they're aware of our approach," Commander Marl replied, her 6 fingers dancing across the control panel. "They're requesting communication." Locke's amber eyes narrowed. "Let them plead. It changes nothing." The Varians had studied humans for months. Their short lifespans, their emotional volatility, their divisive political systems all pointed to an easy conquest. The Empire's strategic AI predicted minimal resistance, 3 days at most, before complete planetary submission. Admiral Tom Reed stared at the holographic display in Earth Command's war room. 27 Varian warships had entered the solar system, their weapons systems far beyond Earth's current capabilities. Around him, representatives from every major nation stood in silence, watching the alien armada approach. "They've rejected all diplomatic channels," General Anna Potzel reported, her voice steady despite the circumstances. "Intelligence confirms their pattern, matches the 17 other systems they've conquered. Then we proceed as planned," Reed nodded. "Initiate Operation Glasshouse." Across the planet, civilians were already being moved to underground shelters, but not in panic, in order. For 3 years, ever since first detecting the Varian fleet, Earth had been preparing, not with weapons that could match the aliens, but with something else entirely. The first Varian scouts entered Earth's atmosphere above the North American continent. They expected resistance, missile launches, aircraft scrambles, energy weapons. Instead, they'd found nothing. Major cities sat seemingly abandoned. Military installations appeared dormant. Report Commander Locke demanded from orbit. "No organized resistance detected," the scout leader responded. "Population centers are evacuated. We're detecting underground movement, likely civilian shelters." Locke frowned. This wasn't the chaotic response their intelligence had predicted. "Proceed with the landing at primary targets," he ordered. "Be alert for traps." The first wave of Varian ground troops landed in 15 strategic locations across Earth. What they found confused them: abandoned cities with essential systems still running. No booby traps, no last-stand defenders, no scorched Earth policy. In Washington, D.C., Varian forces secured the government district with suspicious ease. Captain Krell, leading the Capitol assault team, swept through the Pentagon with growing unease. "Something's wrong," he communicated to his squad. "Access the data systems. Find out what they're planning." When they breached the central command servers, they found them unlocked. Information flowed freely: battle plans, defense strategies, weapon schematics, everything. Krell stared at the data in disbelief. "It's a trap. It must be." But analysis showed the information was genuine, and what it revealed changed everything. Commander Locke received the intelligence packet with skepticism that quickly turned to concern. The humans hadn't prepared a conventional defense. They couldn't. Their technology was indeed centuries behind. Instead, they had prepared a response so audacious that the Varian strategic AI had dismissed it as statistically impossible. The humans had mapped every Varian communication protocol. They had studied Varian physiology and psychology through subtle observations of their previous conquests. They had identified critical weaknesses in Varian ship design, flaws the Varians themselves had overlooked. Most disturbingly, they had developed algorithms that could predict Varian tactical responses with 94% accuracy. But the true masterstroke was simpler. Earth's defenders weren't fighting to win a war. They were fighting to survive the first wave, then adapt. Their battle plans showed contingencies within contingencies, stretching decades into the future if necessary. They had prepared their entire civilization for a multi-generational conflict. "This cannot be right," Locke muttered, reviewing the data again. "They knew we were coming for years. Why didn't they build better weapons?" The answer was in the next data packet. Humans had allocated resources differently. not to match Varian firepower, but to ensure they could not be completely destroyed. Their defense wasn't centralized. It was distributed across millions of independent cells, each with their own objectives, each designed to evolve tactics based on Varian responses. Reed and Pottle watched from their hidden command post as the Varian command ship changed orbit. "They've accessed the servers," Pottle confirmed. Reed nodded. "Now we wait." Their strategy had been controversial. Some wanted to develop better weapons, others to attempt an alliance with other species. But humanity's greatest minds had reached a different conclusion. Against a technologically superior foe, conventional resistance was futile. Instead, they needed to change the nature of the conflict itself. "Sir," a communications officer called out, "we're receiving a transmission from the Varian flagship." Commander Lox had never retreated in his century of military service. He had never even considered it. Yet now he found himself sending a message that would forever change his standing in the Empire. "This is Commander Lox of the Varian Empire," he transmitted. "We propose a temporary cessation of hostilities to discuss terms." The humans had no weapons that could threaten his fleet, but they had something more dangerous. They understood the Varians better than the Varians understood themselves. The battle plans revealed a species that thought in ways his kind could not predict, could not counter with brute force alone. When the Varian delegation met with Earth's representatives, they expected to find desperate primitives grateful for mercy. Instead, they'd found calm strategists with detailed knowledge of Varian politics, including the power struggles that would erupt within the Empire if this conquest failed. "We don't seek war," Reed explained simply, "but we prepared for one that could last centuries. Your empire has never faced an adversary willing to sacrifice generations for victory. We are." As Lox reviewed the full extent of humanity's preparations, he realized the truth. The humans were physically weaker, technologically inferior, and ridiculously short-lived compared to Varians, but they had turned these apparent weaknesses into strategic advantages. They could adapt faster, accept losses differently, and think in ways the long-lived, hierarchical Varians could not. For the first time in its expansion, the Varian Empire signed a non-aggression treaty rather than accepting a surrender. As they departed Earth's solar system, Lox looked back at the blue planet on his display. "They may be the weakest species we've encountered," he told Morrell, "or perhaps the most dangerous. I cannot decide which.